Alright guys, and today I want to do a little bit something different with kind of spotlighting an indie comic. And I haven't really done this all that much. I've done interviews with Kickstarters and things like that for indie work, but I haven't really given a spotlight on indie work. And it's something I actually always wanted to do, but I just haven't really invested the time. It is hard to do all these things and still have a full-time job and a toddler, but I am very happy to do it when I have time. And I was reading a brand new indie comic lately, and I wanted to do an interview, but with schedule changes and my God, health medical issues, which I'll get to in another video, it has been tough. But I still wanted to put a little spotlight on an indie comic that I recently read and actually really enjoyed for the most part. It's called Lost Between Worlds, and no, not to get mixed up with the other Worlds comic that I just did an interview with. This is a different one, and it's actually really interesting because it reminds me of a couple of things kind of mismatched together that I really liked. So what the plot is, or the idea is this Grim Reaper named Gwen who basically goes around gathering souls. That's what Grim Reapers do. I think everybody knows that. I personally love Grim Reaper stories, and the vibe in the beginning of this comic is her kind of taking souls, starting with like a rock band type thing going on, and I really enjoyed the more comedic side of this comic. And that's how it starts. So I got a lot of big Dead Like Me vibes. If you guys ever watched that show, it really kind of pushed it on me as like, wow, I missed that show so much. So I liked reading something that reminded me of that. But suit into the comic, we actually meet another main character, Verta, who has, I believe, a dissociative identity disorder, and so she can't really take his soul because there's multiple. So what makes this so interesting is the fact that where do we come with the soul and who we are and how many identities do we have if we have multiple. I really liked kind of the idea of that, but then there's a bigger picture or bigger story going on in the background that just might end the entire world. So this kind of mixes up a comedic sense, kind of, and also talking about a disorder that isn't really brought up much, and it could be done disrespectfully. Luckily with this comic it is not. And then also a character as a Grim Reaper is always something I really love reading, and she is kind of caught in between all of this happening all at the same time. And what's really cool is that each issue is an hour of the time. This whole thing is going to be the 24 hours. And so I got that. I don't know if you guys ever seen 24. Not one of my favorite shows, but I liked it. And that kind of gave me the same vibe that each issue, like that was each episode was an hour. This is each issue is an hour of time until the full day is complete. So reading this, I had a lot of positives. I was enjoying myself. I laughed a few times. The art is actually pretty solid. It's a little different than what I expected, but I really enjoyed it. I think the cover art is very either gorgeous or over the top in terms of like a spiritual level, and this is more grounded. There are stuff where they go into the afterlife and all that kind of makes it more supernatural, but I was a little bit more grounded than I expected, and I appreciated that. And the art is done by Elton Tomasi. Again, I am terrible with names, so if you guys are watching this who have worked on this, I am so sorry if I mispronounce your names, but he's the inker, the cover design, and the character designer, and it's actually really good. It's different. It kind of has this different vibes going on that I like, the supernatural and the realistic coming together, yet still have that cartoony vibe that I love in these type of comic books. So the original colorist on issue 1 unfortunately passed away. I believe his name was Diego Lima, and I am going to put all these names down there, so if I butcher anyone's name, I am so sorry. He really made everything pop. He made stuff go on screen, or maybe if it's digital on screen, but on paper, really made it go and give that extra flair of the cartoony feel that, again, I appreciate because these are comics, and I feel like everybody's going too realistic these days. So I like the colors a lot here. Some really trippy ones as we go into the different types of areas throughout the first issue. A little bit of second issue, but definitely the first issue at the end. We also had the letterist, Reed Barnes, who did a great job. Now, I will say that's probably one of my negatives. I think that everything in terms of the dialogue boxes and all that worked really well, and the dialogue flowed very well. My one issue I had with issue 2 was that there's a part where it's green dialogue. Now, this is always really kind of iffy to do because green dialogue sometimes is hard to read. So could red dialogue be, as I pointed out many times with Batman the Man who laughs, or whatever the hell that character's name is. You know, the evil Batman. I hate reading his books, not because I hate the character. I hate the dialogue color. I can't read that shit for. I don't know why they decided to go that design. Anyway, and this is not as bad, but the green does make it hard to read, where I do have to zoom in to read the issue, so that's never a great thing, which is weird because everything else looks really great in terms of lettering, but that one thing was probably my biggest negative I had. And the creator and writer of this series is Edwin Decastro, and he does a great job of kind of giving you this more comedic side of things while also giving a threat to the world, and that's kind of hard to do because you're trying to entertain the people reading as kind of a laid-back, fun, comedic, but also stakes storyline. So I really enjoyed. I was able to combine it all. I will say I don't know if I'm 100% sold on Verda. I don't know if I like him, but that's just a personal thing. I have to see more of him. However, I will say that I liked Gwen quite a bit. I think she has that kind of laid-back style of cheerfulness and hopefulness, but also kind of just doing her job, which I think we can all relate to in some point of our life, of just going through the motions. And she gets to basically take people's souls as a motion through life. So it's quite a depressing job, or for her, it's fun. You know, that's just how it goes. But yeah, so far with 2 issues out, or 2 issues I've read. Issue 1 you can actually buy on the website. I'm going to link all this below so you can check it out and purchase if you like. You can get the digital for $5 or physical for $10. I strongly suggest checking it out if you don't want to get the physical. I do recommend digital. $5 is very much worth the price. It's a little longer than the normal comic book. It's more than 22 pages, which is really nice. And yeah, if you want to support indie comics, as I always say you should, this is the way to do it. And then I put all the links if you want to follow this creator or any of the artists, letterers, or any letterists on there. I put them below too to follow them. But if I were to rate something, I don't like to rate indie comics. I think I'm just going to say that, is it worth reading? Yes, I would say it is. I enjoyed my time reading both issues, and I will look forward to reading issue 3. This is going to be 25 issues, since issue 1 technically is issue 0, because we're doing 24 hours, and that starts it at the end as a 24-hour countdown. So 25 issues. Big one, guys. So stick around. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button. If you love me, hit the subscribe button. And go check out these great artists, writers, and colorists, and letterists below. And everybody, have a good day.